Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 show to bring you all things Club America and English.
Oh, what a strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Goal! Now let's hit the field and start the show.
America!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. It is semi-final season upon us here, as we'll be talking all things Club America. We have a chance to get into the final, but before that, we have to get through the league leaders, Pachuca, as well. But we'll go into all of that and in depth as to what happened against Puebla as well. We'll get you guys caught up in everything in regards to Las Águilas del América. But as always, let me introduce my co-host for tonight. It is none other than Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and making his debut finally on the podcast for the very first time since his addition to the team is none other than Chris Rivera. Gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight?
Doing good, Ivan. Doing good. Very happy to be here once again. Very happy we finally made it to semis. It feels like it's been a while, but I think the team deserves it. But we'll get into it more. And like you mentioned, this is Chris's debut, so happy debut, Chris. And I hope you don't make a fool out of yourself. So.
I hope you lead us to the title, Chris. Is basically what I was going to say.
Hey, you guys weren't there, but in the beginning of the season, I told Dylan we're gonna raise the 14. So put that on me if it happens, you know.
I mean, hey, Christian already came into the podcast and we won a title. AJ fell off a little bit. He didn't.
AJ failed. So Chris,
Maybe
get
it's
us
a
back on the
pattern,
right track here.
right? Maybe it's a pattern. One's in, one's out, and then another one's in.
Okay, all right. I'll take it.
100%. We'll take it. But glad you're here, Chris. Glad everything's going well, and happy that you're here on the podcast finally. From the comment section to the microphone, big step. But we knew that Chris was the right integration for the team, and I think he's proven himself. In I know it's been quite the quiet year for us, but even then, I think he's been able to provide a lot of stuff for us. So thank you, Chris, in that aspect. And yeah, AJ, how you been, my friend?
Doing good. Count out the days until I graduate, so it's pretty exciting. And I'm just happy, like Christian said, we actually got past quarterfinals, which is unbelievable. And finally, we're in semifinals territory, or one step away from the final.
100%. So that automatically confirms that, Tano Ortiz will definitely stay as the Club America coach, which I mean, we mentioned was already much cemented. But we did say, right, if we didn't make it past the quarterfinals, then why was he going to stay if nothing really actually changed from that aspect? But glad that he was able to make it. We'll talk a little bit about that Puebla game. I didn't like how we closed the game out. I thought it was pretty much a pretty decent game on the road at the Estadio Cuauhtémoc. Thought the Azteca game should have gone a lot better. We can't be giving up those kind of lazy goals that we did. And but we'll get into it in just a second. But like AJ, you did mention, we have a semifinal on the horizon against Pachuca. So first leg will be at home in Azteca, which will be crucial. It will determine a lot. And then, of course, Thursday is the first game. Sunday will be the second game away at Hidalgo. So, gentlemen, let's jump into this before we talk about Pachuca. Let's talk about how America got to the semifinals. So we talked about an America that was looking strong and picking up form, and looks like they continue to do that in the second leg, at least. In the first leg, I don't know, Christian, I felt we were a little flat at times. A lot of kickball from here and there. I need a little bit more creativity, which we didn't get until the second half.
Yeah, no, I think that Puebla came into the mentality of trying to cut off our flow of game, which they kind of did to a T, kind of for the whole 90. I think we all saw how frustrating it was for Hidalgo and Valdez to get anything going, for Roger Martinez to kind of get that spark going. With the way they were defending, the way they were kind of hitting, it definitely disrupted what we were trying to do. Ultimately limiting us in kind of getting that offensive spark that we kind of saw America in the last couple of games. So credit to Puebla for coming up with the game plan, executing, and they did it pretty well. And it even got them a lead momentarily. So it was definitely going to be an adjustment period for Tano from the ida to the vuelta, which I think he did good. But definitely was struggling that first game for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think you said a credit to Puebla with the game plan. I think was to cut off any and all circulation from America's creative side, which was Diego Valdez, right? The man Israel Reyes was on him like crazy. Like you literally was on him and did not let him turn, did not let him move. So it's a little frustrating to see that America's only outlet was Diego Valdez because no one else really was creating anything. I mean, Roger didn't really come into it until the second half, which I think was a little bit flat from his perspective. Sendejas, I think, as well, was a little bit quiet in the first leg. Um, but think it goes to show that I think the game plan from Tano ultimately paid off.
Yeah, no, just that first game, it was more physical as well on the physical side of things. Puebla just had a bunch of yellow cards, but they were doing that to the very best to stop America from doing anything at all, which is I feel like was the whole game plan for the get go, just for Puebla hopefully to not lose at home and to just make America, just stressed out and just not to do anything in that first game. Away, which they did a good job. Like Christian said, it's props to them. They did the very best. But as the team as a whole, yeah, it was just a whole kickball round. We really weren't playing, the America way as you would see under Dan Ortiz, which I feel like whether that was credit to them just frustrating the team as a whole. We were able to get a goal back at towards the 80th minute mark thanks to Casas. But all in all, just it was not the greatest showing, but at the same time, it was a draw away at the Estadio Cuauhtemoc. It wasn't a loss. So for us, it's good, especially since we were coming home to play the second game at home.
Yeah, 100%. Chris, anything else to add on that maybe we haven't touched upon yet that you think would be important to kind of reflect on in
I
the first leg?
felt the first leg we just looked very rusty, and I think that's always been the case when it comes to not going through the repechaje. I think Puebla just looked to play very very physical. That's and like you said, Israel Reyes was on Valdez and was on pretty much everyone in the attack, and also like losing Viñas the way we lost them, it really you could tell the momentum kind of changed when that happened, which it should have been a penalty, we're being honest.
Yeah, right. But again, we don't live off of if, should, and could haves because I think at the end of the day, we have to go by what happened, which I think we'll talk about another controversial call that they're saying which was the penalty that was retaken in the second leg. But you're right though. I think we were a little bit flat because of the inconsistency of not playing. Puebla had that game against Mazatlan, which took them all the way to penalties. But they had a little bit more momentum, and I think America did all right to weather the storm within the first 45 minutes, but we still conceded, which wasn't good. Which I would add is a bit of an unlucky goal because one, Henry should have done better cleaning that ball, and second, it's just kind of one of those unfortunate ones where your goalkeeper blocks it, but it still lands to the forward's feet. It's kind of those cheesy goals on FIFA where you're like, how do you get that rebound?
Yeah.
So unfortunate, but it was good to see that America. The minute that you saw that America had to make back the comeback, you saw something change,
Yeah.
right? There was that kind of inertia that okay, we got to flip the switch. We got to get that goal back. We did so, and I would argue that we could have walked away with a victory at the Estadio Cuauhtemoc. So again, kudos to Tano for playing the role and for doing things right. And again, it wasn't the best result, and I think we all were a little bit overconfident that America was going to walk away with a victory. But at the end of the day, still not the worst result, right?
No, especially because with the draw, we would have advanced. If it would have stayed, let's just say 0-0 or 1-1 at the Azteca, we still would have advanced due to the high position of the table. So no, not the worst, but like you said, Ivan, I think we all were coming in with the idea that we were capable of getting a W in Puebla. So a little underwhelming for the fans, but it set us up for, I guess, a better showing at the Azteca.
Oh yeah, it did. It definitely did. It definitely. Which, by the way, what a crowd at the Azteca! 50 something thousand people.
Finally.
Finally, right? We needed that type of crowd in the Azteca, which I think helped play this part. Um, but yeah, let's talk second leg. How are you guys coming into this one, knowing that it was 1-1? I think we still all had that overconfidence of we're at home with a much better team. We have to see this game out, right? And you saw there was a dominance in the first 45 minutes that it was clear and obvious that America was just, it wasn't if it was gonna happen, it was when was it gonna happen for that first goal to come down, and eventually it does it does come down in the form of Henry Martin, who I think needed that goal more than anyone on that pitch. Still, though, I think he had a chance to make it 2-0, like not shortly afterwards, and again missed something. But overall, it's pretty good, pretty promising from America. The only downside to this, Chris, is the way we give away that goal at the end, which I think was foolish and stupid of us.
Yeah, man. I mean, all right. Remind me how it happened. How was the
So
ball game?
so it's a corner for Puebla, right? And then Puebla gets the rebound, and then they cross it in, and then Ochoa gets kind of caught of like, oh, I'm going out. Then he's like, no, I'm not reaching that. So then the Puebla defender somehow manages, not the defender, the striker gets to head it over Ochoa. It looks like it's going in. Pedro Aquino heads it out. He's able to clear it. And then again, one of those things where you're just like, how is it that you're so fortunate to get that rebound?
Right.
Israel
And
Reyes
Reyes
is
is
right
right there.
there. And then just Chilena
Wait,
into
you're
the
talking
back of the net.
about? I thought we were talking about the penalty.
No. I'm
Oh,
talking
no.
about
Okay.
I'm
My
talking about the
bad.
goal that
I
we
remember the
conceded.
Chilena. Yeah. Everyone blamed it on Ochoa. I don't know if you saw that on social media. Because he hesitated to come
I think
out.
that's fair.
I think everyone has this conversation anytime something like that happens. I know Ivan probably gets super annoyed because that's his guy and he plays goalkeeper, right? But at the same time, it's one of those things like
I
you
don't
have. It's a mark thing too, right? I
yeah,
think it's not just goalkeeper. It's like you have to have like why is he able to do that? And personally, okay that it happened because they still needed to score 2 more goals if I'm mistaken, right? Or 1 more goal because the
One more
Henry
goal,
goal
right?
happens
Yeah.
first. Like the whole time with like I was calm with the tie at Puebla because I knew that they were going to be aggressive, and if you look at their squad, there's no one that I guess like it could be explosive in a counter, right? Or stopping a counter. The goal happens from Henry, which was a header, right? And America fans don't like Henry, let's be honest. So a lot of them were very kind of bitter that he scored out of everyone. But at the same time, like once that goal happened, I was okay with the Reyes goal, and then I guess like who scores the next one? It was
Diego Valdez's penalty is the one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was scored on.
Penalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second
Controversial.
one right now.
Controversial penalty.
yeah, and that from there with that penalty it was over, you know.
Yeah, I think so because then Puebla has to fight, come back, and then score 2 more goals. But I don't know. It was frustrating to see us concede the way that we concede because
Mhm.
Yeah.
we had just come on last week and we had praised the defense of this America side, and
then
maybe
they-
it's our fault. We should
Casper's
never
curse,
do
I
that
guess.
again.
I don't know.
But again, it is this America side that hadn't conceded an X amount of goals in their Tano for such a long period of time, and then you're looking at this 2-leg match. You concede 3 goals. That is just that's not okay. That's not acceptable, especially if you want to call yourself a title contender. You can't
Right.
be giving away goals like the way that you did. Again, granted, 2 of them I would imagine you would say lucky rebounds, right? The penalty that we give away too is I think a little bit cheap on our end to
Yeah,
be giving something
little
away.
sloppy, right?
Yeah, can't be doing that. Especially, even though people say, well, it's the end of the match already, like this doesn't really matter. I think it does from a motivational perspective. And I mean, you pull it up right here, right? Defeating Puebla 4-3 on aggregate. That doesn't sound so convincing.
Right.
That sounds like you barely got away with it.
But then let's put this from our semifinal opponent. They struggle with Atletico San Luis also, you know.
True.
So it's kind of like if you really look at the 4 teams that made it, no one's really coming in with this like dominant like performance. Maybe you could say Atlas,
I
right?
was gonna say maybe Atlas.
But I
Yeah.
think if you watched that game against Chivas, it felt more like Chivas just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, no, that's true. I
know?
agree with you in that.
And I think that was self-inflicted. I don't think it was because Atlas was this superior team. I think it was just you see Macias, or I'm not trying to talk about Chivas, but I'm just trying to like give a perspective, right? That no one really has this dominant like semi or quarterfinal game, at least from my opinion.
So I think what we're trying to get at here is that the goals that Puebla made and the way we conceded, it's just like it was so preventable, and it could have made it seem, and it could have instilled the confidence in the players, knowing that we were, like you said, the only team to kind of dominate their opponent.
Mhm.
So the fact that we're still capable of conceding goals like this makes it a little more scarier going on to Pachuca, because we know Pachuca doesn't,
Yeah.
they're definitely the way better team than Puebla. They're
Yeah.
they're not going to kind of miss opportunities that maybe Puebla had, because Puebla did have a couple more, if we're being honest here, and we had to
Mhm.
rely on once again Ochoa to kind of bail us out on some occasions. Um, Pachuca is not Puebla, and the fact that we have the second leg at Pachuca in this round makes the first leg that much more important. But I think America is gonna have to find a way to win, not tie, but win at the
Mhm.
Azteca, knowing that we have to go in Pachuca and most likely do the same thing again, is get a win, not a draw.
Yeah, because Hidalgo is not going to be an easy stadium whatsoever to go into. I mean, we've always found a way to struggle there, but you're
Mhm.
right, Christian. I think we'll get to that point in just a second. But looking back at this Puebla game as a whole in the second leg, whilst I would say we were definitely the more dominant team, and there is no argument that we deserve to go through to the next round, it's those little things, those little moments where you're just like, this is not convincing me. This is not convincing me going on the long run. I don't know, AJ. What do you feel after this Puebla game? After winning the way that we do, do you feel more like a title contender, or do you still think that this is not looking promising for us?
It's like a bit of both. It's like, yes, we finally got through that bump that of getting past quarterfinals. Hooray, congrats, we're in semifinals. But the way that how many goals you conceded, as Christian mentioned, those were very preventable goals. It's just like you mentioned, at least they get the lucky bounce. Yeah, it's one of those incidents that he just happened to be right there. Ball went right to him. They get that first goal. Okay, then the goal that we will concede at home, the first goal. Yeah, that's just really bad cleaning up on our part. That Ochoa thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go back. I'm not gonna reach. I'm gonna step back. Aquino heads the ball. Reyes is just right there at the right time to then just do that chilena. You're just like, okay, that's bad. And then the penalty we would give up, really silly. We did not need to really concede that, and we didn't have to concede a penalty like that in that form or commit the foul like that. So it's already the worry like defense is solid, but we're still making those crucial mistakes, which when you're in Ligia, you cannot be making those kind of mistakes. So those mistakes can come to haunt you back to the point some teams just may never recover from that, continue to make defensive mistakes and concede goals. So at the moment, I still need a little bit more convincing. So in this home game versus Pachuca, we definitely need to put our best foot forward and give it with everything we got, make as little defensive mistakes as possible, and to let Pachuca know that we show no mercy and we need to play at our top level that we can against Pachuca. Because if we're going after Hidalgo, yeah, it's always going to be tough at Hidalgo, and especially with the way that Pachuca are playing this season, they're also going to give it their all versus America. And when they're at the Hidalgo, it's a completely different story.
No, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Well, before we jump to Pachuca, because I think we're already kind of transferring the conversation towards that direction. Anything else you guys want to add on in this Puebla quarterfinal matches against them?
I think
Anything you
we
guys want to stand out?
praised Bruno before the season, the series started, and he's back to his Bruno ways.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like him in either leg. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I think that's another liability we have to watch out in the Pachuca series.
Yeah, no. It's just unfortunate we did actually get to score first, like earlier on before the Henry Martin goal, only for it to then get called for offside. I think it was. So I think if that goal, if you were to score that, how would you still feel? You think you would still not feel the same way as you were now, or?
So I don't know, because we scored first either way.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's good to see him score, because that's what we need, obviously, and we need a striker that can score. And if he wants to put out confidence now, that's fine, and it'll only help us. Um, but I don't know. I just don't see it just yet. Hopefully, he proves me wrong in the Pachuca series, because I think he just has that chip on his shoulder now that
Mhm.
that he needs to prove a lot of people wrong, and now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting, right? I mean, does he get to start? Does Vina come on and take his starting position role again? That's gonna be up to Tano, and I think he's done very well managing these type of situations. And um, I mean, I'll pick your guys' brain in just a second as to who you guys think will be the starter, but we'll have to wait and see. Um, I mean, overall, it's nice that we finally advanced, right? After what, 3 seasons of
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been
consistently
pretty seasons.
missing out on semifinals. And I think now the objective is, why not? Why can't we go any further than this, right? So the team that very much believes in themselves, which I think is important. I think the locker room is in a state that it hasn't been in such a long time. Um, and I mean, we'll see how far that morale and the talent can take you in a game like this. So again, we'll have to wait and see. But like we mentioned, Pachuca is our next opponent. We did get to face off against the best team in the league as far as the regular season goes. So Pachuca, America versus Pachuca, like I already mentioned, a Thursday night. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. That game's going to be again on Tuesday and on Thursday,
Thursday.
which was, I think, was an odd. I thought we would have gotten a
Mhm.
Saturday
So yeah, so that's what me and AJ were talking about earlier. We
because
we would
more
have
rest.
got the Wednesday Saturday schedule, considering
Yeah.
we played on Saturday. So I don't know.
But hey, more rest for us. I mean, we'll
Yeah,
take it.
like, I'm not complaining. I'm definitely
Yeah.
not complaining.
Um, which means then of course, second leg will be going away at Hidalgo Pachuca. That is also going to be the same time, 6
Correct.
p.m. Pacific,
Yep.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and 8 Central. Again, both games live onto the NA. Gentlemen, how we feel about this? When we knew that our opponent was going to be Pachuca, were you guys adamant? Are you guys a little bit worried, or do you guys think that it's gonna be a walk in the park? Because then I saw it was a Ricardo, I think, saying that it was gonna be let me see if I can build this up. I know it was here somewhere. I saw it. There it is. Ricardo, America is coming for blood. Pachuca is going to be easy work. Is that fair statement to make, or do you think
Mm,
that we should be a little bit more worrisome, or at least throw a little bit more caution to the wind?
I want to say throw more caution because we really thought we were gonna smoke Puebla at first, and then we look at the end of the aggregate and we're just like, okay, yeah, nah. This is what happens when we don't podcast for a long time. We're just going guns a blazing, like, yeah, we're gonna smoke them, and then that happens. So no, definitely be on the lookout. Be cautious. This is the number one seeded team in Liga MX, which no one would have honestly thought. I didn't even bother really looking at Saints but America, but when I had to see Pachuca in first, I'm like, really? They're in first, and then when you're seeing them scoring 30, I'm like, damn, that's pretty impressive, especially with the guy with Nico Ibanez. Dude's a monster for Pachuca this season in terms of goal scoring.
Chris, I think this is a Pachuca side that is a bit odd, right? I mean, you look at it and you're like, this doesn't really look like a first place team, at least talent wise. You would assume, right?
they're midfield, man. That's what's making them be the best team in the league right now. They have Victor Guzman, who has been, let's be honest, he's been pretty much consistent his whole career. He has two youngsters behind him, and was it Chavez and Sanchez? I believe that's his name. And like AJ said, he has Ibanez, who's been really really good since he arrived in Mexico. I don't think it's gonna be a easy game, but I do think our midfield is gonna be the key to winning this game, and our fullbacks, because if I remember correctly, what game did they beat us like really bad? But I just remember it was
This
Ibarra
season.
that was like consistently attacking our fullback and was consistently winning those battles. We have to be everything, just win everything in the midfield, win every battle up top, win everything. We just have to win because this is, let's be honest, the champion's going to come out of this game. If you paid attention to both these teams, the champions has to come out of this game. So this is technically, in my perspective, is the final.
Pretty bold statement to make. I would, I'd say, but I think you're right. Maybe the two more stronger teams. Although I would argue again, Atlas will put we'll throw their name in the hat and say that they're pretty good title contenders as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see what they do on their end. We just got to focus on what we have ahead of us. And Christian, that is Pachuca. Again, a team that you can't really underestimate. And whilst they did struggle against San Luis, and I know everyone's trying to point fingers at that and say, look, they didn't even beat San Luis badly as everyone else thought that they would be. But the argument could be made for us as well. I think everyone came into this thinking that America was going to walk away with like a 5-1 aggregate
Yeah.
against Puebla, right?
Yeah, I
And
know.
that wasn't the case.
So just before we bounce off, to other things, I think people are looking at the San Luis and Pachuca matchup and saying, okay, Pachuca is definitely beatable. Knowing what we're capable of, knowing what San Luis, I guess, offered, in that series, I think it's very clear to us and to the players that this is we can win this series. So that's step number one, believing that you can. Number two is actually going out and executing it. Now, how we're going to do that, I think Chris put it perfectly. I think that the midfield's going to be very important here. You saw the way Valdez and Fidalgo struggled the first leg against Puebla just because of the way the game was planted to them. I don't think that's going to be the same case here. I think Pachuca knows their worth. I think they know that they can go toe-to-toe with us on the up and down the roster. So I think that's going to give them a little bit more liberty to kind of do what they've been doing in these past games. That in turn, I think will kind of create an offensive spark. Like I said, guys, I think we really need the W here at the Azteca because we don't. If we go into Hidalgo with a draw or even a loss, it's gonna get that much complicated, and I really don't want to do the comeback thing again. I kind of like being,
In a favorable position, yeah.
at the driving seat in the series. So I did. This is gonna be one. This is gonna be the ultimate test for Tanya to make it to show us that he knows what he's doing and to come up with a good game plan from minute one on Thursday.
Yeah, and look, everything's up in the air right now. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say that I feel very much confident that this America side can pull off a very good, convincing victory. But it's not to say that we can't walk away with a good result. And AJ, I know Christian mentioned that we got to walk away with the Azteca with a victory, but I'm going to be honest with you. A 1-0 victory, a 2-1 victory, it's not going to be suffice. It's not going to be enough. You have to walk away with at least a 2+ goal differential to say that you're in the driver's seat against Pachuca and Hidalgo. Now, the favorable thing about America is that if you look at the past results in the Estadio Azteca, we've been able to score more than 2+ goals for the majority of the games, right? I think the only one to that exception is probably the Cruz Azul match where we ended up drawing. But even then, that was technically an away game, or was it a home game?
It was a home game
Okay,
actually.
but still,
Yeah.
It still points in the direction that look, we've made the Azteca somewhat a fortress again. We like scoring there. Let's go out, take our chances, walk away with a good goal differential. Because, like I mentioned, a 1-0 victory might not be enough.
Yeah, no. The thing, like in Liga as well, anything can happen. It's Liga MX. Expect the unexpected, just like we've been having in these quarterfinal series so far. Cruz Azul and Tigres just battling it. Tigres only being able to move on because of their position in the table. That San Luis scare they gave to Pachuca definitely had them on their toes. They technically, if San Luis are able to get a couple more goals, they could have potentially eliminated Pachuca. You got Puebla and America, tough back and forth series. The only one really you're thinking about now is just with Chivas and Atlas, where Atlas I feel like they kind of had it slightly easier on their part. But no, we definitely need to be scoring 2+ goals in this. A potential 3-0, that's a lot to maybe ask for, considering it's against the number one seeded team in Pachuca in the league. That does not mean they're undefeatable at all. Any team is beatable in the Liga. It's just we need to do our very best really and make the most out of our opportunities, because America, there have been numerous games in this season. I can recall an example against Toluca. We should have probably smoked them maybe 5-0, potentially 6, maybe even more. We just were not capitalizing on the chances that we were getting. Especially when you're having guys like Henry Martin or Viñas or even Ortero at the 4 position, you're going to start worrying, because these guys in the game against Pachuca, they need to capitalize. Whoever's going to be starting need to make the most out of those chances. Like you said, Ivan, 2+ goal difference, that's what we're going to definitely need. Especially when we're going at the Hidalgo, we would like to score goals over there too. But we need to make a strong appearance in that first game. Just get ourselves situated from that first game on, and not have to either play the comeback boys in the second leg, because I feel like that's a thing that America fans experience way too much in these past years, or in just in games. and they play our sentimientos. I don't think I need that, especially in semifinals now. We're just one step from the finals. So that home game, really crucial for America to have a strong foot in that first game.
Definitely. Brian over here saying this roster is such a cluster to win a title, but it would be funny.
And imagine having forwards in this championship side that's not scored more than 5 for you. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Otero has 1. Venus, I think, either has 1 or 2. It could be wrong. I think Henry has 2 so far. So
yeah, not a lot of goals coming from the people in charge of scoring them. Jose Ramirez saying, bro, Otero doesn't even deserve to be on the bench.
all right, let me touch about Otero quickly because that is up at Puebla. Look, any guy that comes into America that doesn't get a lot of love or any support from the fans, I really just hope if they can score a goal, be having it for Otero. Come on, man, you gotta finish that.
He's your new
It was
Chucho Lopez.
it was set up right
He's your new
for
Chucho
you.
Lopez.
Yo, it's not. Chucho Lopez is a whole different level from stop. Nah, at least he can do assists. At least he can contribute. Nah, but Otero, that was set up. That play from Roman Martinez, which is actually his 3rd appearance for America. He's been on fire with Fuerzas Básicas. The team is actually now in the finals, so really good on him. For someone to see Roman Martinez, a player from Fuerzas Básicas, which I don't even recall the last time we ever had a youngster for our academy either making an appearance. In this, props to him. Set that play for Otero, but come on, man, you got to finish that.
Definitely.
You need to.
Brian saying we need more minutes for the Tank Roman up top, but he won't get them this weekend because, like you mentioned, he's got a final to think about. So he's got his own trophy to win. So we'll see. But all right, Christian, talk to me. Lineup. What do you think we're gonna come out with both of these legs? Castano likes to rinse and repeat as far as lineups go. Do you think it's gonna be the same? Any changes from the Puebla matchup to this Pachuca game, or
So I don't think there's going to be any changes from the Vuelta of the Puebla game. I think he'll go with the same lineup, which would be Ochoa and net, the back line, Jorge Sanchez, Bruno Valdez, Sebastián Cáceres, Luis Fuentes. In the midfield, Pedro Aquino, Álvaro Fidalgo, and Diego Valdez. On the left, Roger Martinez. On the right, Sendejas. And up top, Henry Martin.
You don't think we see the return of I don't know. Hold on, is Viñas technically could be
so
ready,
he could
right?
play, but I don't think
Could be. He's not 100%
yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
then
kind
Richard.
of more like emergency cases, I guess, in a sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why I think he'll go with Henry. He'll stick with Henry.
As
And
far
plus,
as
he's still
Richard
left
goes.
wing, so
What about Richard?
no, I think same thing. I don't think he's 100 yet.
Okay. And well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, still, this is a pretty good, solid lineup. You look at it and you think, okay, doable. What I want to see more from this America side is utilize that left-hand side with Roger. Right?
100%.
I think he can be very creative on his day, especially in the Azteca. I feel like he grows into it. And that frees up Valdez a little bit more, which I think is what we need. And let's be honest, the minute our number 10 appears, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I haven't said this in forever talking about America, the minute our number 10 appears, it looks like we're doing stuff, right? So when Valdez gets the ball to his feet and he starts making runs, he starts doing a couple of good plays, the team seems to be moving and they're all gelling together. I think this is going to be important. We'll have to wait and see. But like you mentioned, first leg, super important, super vital. If you had to pick a certain play style, what do you think? You think we're going to be more on the more possessive side of things? We're going to try to just keep the ball and try to open up the channels? Or do you think we're going to be aggressive from the get-go and just try to, kind of pierce through their defense and take as many chances as we can? Because I've seen the America side do both, right?
So I was gonna go more for that. I think it's gonna be kind of a tale of two halves. I think in the first we'll kind of feel them out a little bit, maybe get a little creative here and there. I think in the second, about the 60th mark, depending on the score, I think that's when we're gonna have to go out and find the result. And the result being the win. I don't expect us to play passive or play for the draw. I honestly think that the team should be in the mentality that we need to win, guys. We have to go out there and we have to win. It's a must. Like, we have to go out there and win. So I hope the team responds. I hope that, like you said, they all grow into their positions. Roger and Valdez, I'm sorry. And they can spark something for us.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be interesting, and I mean we'll see. Hopefully Henry's on got his scoring boots that day. Chris, what player for you needs to be the most important coming into this first leg?
Well, before I say that, I actually think Viñas is gonna play. I don't know if that's a bold statement, but I feel system wise, right? You're either
Yeah,
saying you want Valdez, Rogers, and Dejas, Fidalgo to be the pretty much the offense, right?
Yeah,
In my opinion, I think Viñas just holds the ball better than Henry. I think Henry's gonna look for the selfish thing, which is gonna go for his goal. And we've seen that he's done that before, where
yeah,
where it's 2v1, a quick pass to the goal to the next guy, and it's a goal, but he'll shoot it, he'll miss. It's a frustrating thing, but I think from a system perspective, I think that's what Tano's gonna look at. He's gonna look to put in Viñas. He's probably gonna tell Viñas, "Hey, be very conservative with the way you play, but we're gonna put you in." I think Fidalgo is probably, I mean, not Fidalgo. Aquino it's. I like how Richard has looked under Tano, but in this game, I think Aquino is key. To me, that's the key player in this. Why? Because he has to face Victor Guzman, and
yeah.
Victor Guzman is could be scoring from anywhere. You know, he could do a lot of things, and I think that's the most important thing. You do not want to be overly aggressive with this team because, like I said, you have Ibarra and you have Hurtado. So, in my opinion, the key player to this game is going to be Aquino.
I agree. I think that, defensively, we've looked sound when we wanted to, of course, without taking in consideration the silly mistakes we've made. And I think that's something that Thanos going to try to reiterate and say, look, defensively, we just were not on par with our standards. And I think we have to go back and do the right things we were doing. And let's face it, a couple times we got lucky, a couple times we tried to bail us out, but still, clean sheets are important. And I think he's going to look into this game and say, look, we got to walk away not only with a win, but with a clean sheet because that gives us more wiggle room. So we'll see what happens. But I like it. I think Aquino's a very much, important player, especially in the defensive scheme of things. And I think that gives Fidalgo a liberty to go a little bit more forward, knowing that Aquino has, that ability to track a little bit more space than he does. So, but it's not to say that I don't see these players defense because I see Fidalgo run down and chase a ball all the way to the corner flag. I see Roger defend. I think we talked about that. Valdez too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. But I think we can all agree, right? A result is a victory, but by a margin of at least 2 goals. No.
Agree.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get my hopes up on it. Just
No,
because
of course not. Of course not.
a lot of people will probably have the mindset of it's a failure. I think it's not a failure, but we do have to win, right? To be
100%.
comfortable. 1-0, and then just look for the goal again over there. But it's not a failure if we don't score two. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But I'd rather not be completely comfortable. That's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that America can continue to do the 3 goal stuff that they've been doing at the Azteca. And heck, I'll take a 3-1. That would be absolutely ideal. I'll get you guys' predictions a little bit later, like we did last podcast. And then let's just talk second leg, because this is where America always tends to either make or break, right? Because I think we always leave it late, Christian. And I think it's because we usually have home field advantage in the second leg. Well, now things have to be kind of reversed. So first leg, you're at home, you got to take care of business, right? Second leg, I think, is even more crucial because even though you're not at home, and let's say you do have that favorable result, now it's managing a game. And I think that's something America has been able to do pretty well, I want to say.
When
But
was the last time America was played the second leg away?
oh man, that's been a minute.
So okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at because we're not used to being in this position.
Exactly.
We're used to saying, okay, where are we playing Wednesday, Thursday? Because we know we're going to be in the Azteca Saturday or Sunday. And I don't know with this core of players, who from this core of players was the last time to ever experience something like that?
Well, look, the
Besides Ochoa,
last
obviously.
time, the last time America had quote unquote that situation was when we played the final against Cruz Azul.
Well,
because the first
Tigres,
leg, but
realistically.
they're both at the Azteca, so
Right.
it doesn't
Realistically, it
really.
was Tigres, right?
The Tigres one, right? Was that when we
Or Rayados. I
went to the
mean,
Volcan and beat them 3-2?
Yeah, yeah.
no, not Rayados, right? It
No,
was.
Rayados. We
No,
flew.
that was
Okay.
Champions League.
I'm
No,
thinking, yeah, yeah. It was only one game too.
so the Tigres game.
Before anything though, let me add. They reported Jairo Moreno's not going to be part of the Pachuca squad for this 2 games, which to me is very very key because now you have Sendejas versus whoever their second left back is, which I don't even know who that is.
It could be
Which,
different an area
yeah.
to exploit. That's for sure.
And sometimes I see Sendejas and Rogers switch sides. Might be prominent. You never know. But again, like you said, possible avenue to explore. We'll have to wait and see. Um, Overall, though, I think you have to come into the Estadio Hidalgo with that kind of mindset of no, I still need to win this game.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
So no, that's definitely gonna be the key thing, and I hope the players know that no matter what happens on Wednesday, on Thursday, I'm sorry, the objective is to get a W in both games, not just get a W one or the other. Go in there and don't play for the draw, go for the W because that'll just one guarantee you obviously the ticket to the final. Two, it'll just instill that confidence in you that saying, wow, we just beat the number one team both home and away. Like
Yeah.
who's to say we can't win the whole thing now?
exactly.
And if we do punch our ticket, that'll give them even more confidence because if we do go to the final, the second leg will be played away as well. No matter who advances from the other bracket, from the other side of the bracket. So it just gives the players that motivation, that confidence, the knowing that we can do this. And I think that's kind of been the key thing with this group of players under Tano, saying that we're capable of doing certain things that maybe didn't seem possible with Piojo or with Solari. So the group aspect of the whole team coming together is key, and it needs to be shown over the next 2 games right now.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any more better myself, gentlemen. Anything else you want to add on in regards to the second leg potential preview here?
I think we might have got it all. Just that second leg, it's gonna be crucial as well. We're gonna definitely need to go in there, not with the mind. I feel like to defend from the get go, depending how aggregate is going. But I always feel like in this case, it's just to score a goal or two, and then from there, depending how the aggregate's going, how we are playing ourselves in that second game, if everything's going well, then a tail two has thing where it's like, all right, from there on, get defensive towards just play defensively. Try for America not to make too many mistakes in defense, even though this defense is prone to making mistakes like that. But under Tano, it has not been as prevalent as it was when it was under Solari, under Piojo. So hopefully with the defense that we have lined up, that Tano can get the very best out of these defenders in moments where we need to close the game down for however many minutes that we need in order to secure our ticket to the final.
Agreed. Chris, any last words?
Nah, man. I think we covered pretty much everything. I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be a very, very tough game. But it's like I said, it's the champion's gonna come out of this game. You're looking at the two. One of them, that has the most momentum, which is America, and you're looking at the best team in the season. Tigres and Atlas. I see too much flaws in their game, so I think the champions is gonna come out of this game. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. Well, all right, gentlemen. Before I ask you guys' predictions as to what's going to happen for both legs, I would like to invite everyone here in the comment section to give me you guys' predictions as to who do you think is going to advance. I know the majority will say America because I think that's what we're all hoping for. But give me you guys' prediction, aggregate result. What do you guys think is going to be at the end of the day? Whilst that is coming on, I just want to highly stress that this is, and America said that if you would have told us when we were bottom of the table that we were going to be in a semifinal, no one would have believed you.
Dude, we were dead last place for I think 2 jornadas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
We're two games away from going to the grand final.
And that's huge. That's
and with
huge
the
from
best
them.
momentum. I don't
Yeah,
think people realize that the stretch of games that we had where we were just winning, and it's not like just Solari has those type of games, right? But it like everyone was like, oh, it's just a boring, safe way to win. Then Liguilla came and it was like, oh, boom, you get exposed, right? We're
yeah.
playing good, and it's not even just like good, like offensively good. Yeah, I guess we have our opinions about our strikers, right? The stats speaks for themselves, but the goals don't need to come from there. You have Valdez and Sendejas, who before they even got here, they had like 6 goals each in their other clubs, so they could pretty much do the same thing with us in this Liguilla, and I'm expecting exactly that.
So it kind of gives you kind of a reminiscing feeling of when America won the title against Cruz Azul, right? It wasn't our
Yeah,
forwards scoring the goals; it was our defenders
yeah.
in the league. Yes.
Now it's our
So
midfielders doing it.
now the midfielders. So I think he's right. I don't think most of the time it has to come through the forward side of things. But all right, let's read a couple of these takes right here. We have Jose Ramirez saying 5-3. America passes 2-1. America Ida, then 3-2. America in the Vuelta. That's one hell of a game. I'll tell you that much.
That's gonna be one of the games. Yeah.
As
Holy
one
shit.
hell of a game.
We'll see what happens there. Brian saying 2-1 at home and then 1-1. Ahmed advances into the final. Love to see that. We have 3-0 at the Azteca from Ricardo and then 2-1 at Pachuca. I'd love to see that one, to be honest. That one is the one I'm rooting for. And then we have AP Junior saying tie aggregate Pachuca passes. To be honest, it's hard for America realistically. Hashtag sorry, which is understandable. I can see where he's coming from.
Respectable for sure.
And then we have Kevin Perez saying 3-2 on aggregate. Hopefully saying that America wins. So
Please, sir, please.
we'll see what happens on that end. But all right, Chris, seeing as how you're the newcomer, give me your prediction for this semifinal
I
leg.
think 1-1 in El Azteca, and we went 2-1 over there.
What? I did
Yeah.
not expect that.
Wild.
Wait, is that the number right? Yeah, we win, right? We go in.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
win.
Yeah,
but
Okay.
we'll win.
I
I
expect
think
tie.
it's just drama. That's how the league is. Conspiracy theory or whatever, but I think we're just gonna have drama, and then the second leg is gonna be intense. But I see us winning. I think we go over there and we win. I looked at their I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had low attendance in these games against San Luis.
It was
They
9.
did.
I think it was
So
9.
so my
9K.
perspective is home game,
For
both
both.
sides. That's my perspective. So for me, like I understand some stadiums or we just don't have the history, right? But if you're first place in the league and your fan base isn't showing up, I'm sorry, but America fans are showing up. We all know this. We're
Yeah,
all
that's fair.
they're gonna show up, and it's gonna be our home game, and we're gonna see that America just perform different over there.
Yeah,
So I
you're
think it's a
right.
2-1, maybe even 2-0, but we win over there. And in La Azteca, because it's a weekday game, I always feel our fan base or just any fan base just doesn't show up. You know, the stadium doesn't feel as packed.
Yeah.
But over
Hopefully
there,
that changes, though.
yeah, but over there we will show up, and it's gonna be a home game, and we're gonna win over there.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting way of going about things. We'll see if that comes true to fruition. Maybe Chris already saw the what the scriptwriters wrote for this season.
Yo.
So we'll have to wait and see. But AJ, throw me your prediction for the aggregate results.
Let's go throughout the Azteca and a 1-1 draw away.
All right. I like it. I really do. Okay. Christian, where
So you know how I was praising and telling you guys that America needs to win at Pachuca? That's just me saying that that's what I hope the team does. That's not really how I feel though inside of me. You know? 2-1 at the Azteca, 2-2 in Pachuca.
oof. Narrow margins there.
I think Sunday's game is gonna be like an all-out just
Battle.
back and forth. Give me the ball, okay? I'll give you the ball. Get this, that. No fouls being called whatsoever. Just pure footy being played by both sides, and
Like the last time we played.
allow for a lot of goals to be
Yeah.
scored. Hopefully in our favor, but I'm thinking 2-2.
All right, I like it. Well, I'm gonna be a little bit more conservative than I was last time because I was just wild with my prediction, saying 3-0 at the Azteca, and I know AJ continued that. I'm gonna go, and I think, like I mentioned, vital, absolutely vital that America walks away with a clean sheet. I'm going 2-0 at the Azteca. That's very much doable. And then at Hidalgo, I can see us getting a 1-1.
Okay.
So, like I said, I was really, really cheering for for this Ricardo prediction, 3-0 at the Azteca, then 2-1 at Pachuca. But mine's going on the 1-1 side of things. I don't know if we walk away with the victory at Hidalgo. But it still means that we walk away with our tickets to the final, which I think most of all, that's the most important part, right? That's really what you're
Yes.
looking for at this stage of the season, even if it's scrappy, even if it's ugly, even if it's not what you've been doing the whole season that led you to this point. If it gets you on to the next round, then that's enough. And you just think ahead, which I think is what Pachuca is doing because, it was enough what they did against San Luis. Now they can reshift their focus and say, all right, let's turn around against America, which is what they're going to try to do, which again means we need to start and do things better. Fred Duran saying over and under on Viña scoring more than one goal. I think this question is towards you, Christian.
But so I don't think he's gonna play on Thursday. If he plays both games, I'll take the over. But if he just plays the one game, you take the under.
And there you go. That is your bet of the day here from the Eagle Eye Podcast. But yeah, look, you guys stay tuned on our Twitter. We're gonna have you guys covered with everything going on in that matchup. AJ's done a wonderful job this season with the gifts, and I'm sure he's looking forward to making more of those. And again, it's Thursday, so go out to your nearest Buffalo Wild Wings and get a buy one get one free. Now, this is not sponsored, but this is my favorite time of the week to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And what better time than to see it in an America game as well? So Thursday is gonna be an interesting one. And then Sunday will be D-Day for America, whether or not we can get ourselves back into the final, which again will be crucial because I think America needs Champions League football ASAP.
Right. I also think it's very interesting. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Sebastian Cáceres today. Most of the team is taking this as a kind of a revenge kind of thing for Pachuca eliminating us a couple seasons ago in the quarterfinals. So that they might be playing with a little chip on their shoulder come Thursday, which I think is kind of big in the sense that, like we all mentioned here, that we need to win on Thursday.
100%. And like Brian's saying, vamos cabrones. This is doable. This is winnable. And from America's perspective, you're the biggest team in the region. I would argue the world, but I don't have time to get into that debate.
I back up that statement, by the way.
Thank you. But look, you gotta go out there, do your thing, play, and get that taken into the final, which I think is more than doable. But all right, gentlemen, any last words or anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up here, and hopefully come back next week and again continue to celebrate.
We're going to have an America Atlas final.
Oof. I would love me an America Atlas final. I really would. AJ?
Man, if it was an American Atlas final, that's nerve-wracking because then one will get memed on if, God forbid, Atlas ends up doing the two.
So is that really a meme anymore now because they've won?
Look,
Yeah.
Even that, they happen to then defeat two of the biggest clubs in Mexico pretty much at that point. If you were to beat them back-to-back in a final, if they do happen to get to a final and they face us.
I don't know about you guys, but Atlas is already the biggest club in Guadalajara, in my opinion.
Insert the image of the CM getting salty and throwing that image out for saying we have more choice than you, because that day
I think it'd be more of a meme if Tigres made it to the final and then beat us just because of the whole Piojo thing.
Oh my!
That would be
actually,
more of a
right?
At that point,
I think the meme would be Chivas if America and Atlas play the final. Right?
Yeah, Chivas is always a meme. Let's just be honest.
Okay.
It's more of a meme if Cordova scores on us in a final, and then celebrates. So
I think someone said in the comments that'd be the nightmare for Chivas if it was an America
Atlas final.
Yeah, God forbid that they'll have to actually go look at Atlas and like, please do us a favor. And Atlas is like, fuck that.
Would they though?
Who do you root
Yeah,
for?
would they though? I kind of like because they don't like each other over there.
So I think someone put a comment say, I really do not hope that they make to a final. I'm gonna have to either look at one of these teams, say beat the other, please, because at this point I don't think they can even decide. I don't think they would at that point. They probably just would not even bother looking.
They're
at
like, oh well,
at
the
that
season's
point.
over. Looks like
That's it.
all ended at semifinals
If
for
those
everyone.
two are in there, they're like, it's over. Nah, forget that. The league don't exist to me.
We'll see. AP Junior saying America Tigres is the final. I called it. LOL. I don't
Hey.
know. We'll see. Oh, look, I'm not too worried about who potentially could get in the final because I think at this point you got to play whoever you play and you got to showcase, right?
And we
But
smoke
first things
anybody.
Huh? Maybe.
You about
I
to
don't know.
smoke that pack?
We gotta smoke that Pachuca pack first.
I'm down. Let's do
Once
this.
we do, then we worry about the next one.
Sounds
All
good.
right. But okay, with that said, I think we pretty much wrapped it up here. Like, and we'll be back next week to talk all things America. We'll recap what happened against Pachuca, and hopefully we give our ups and downs on everything here. So again, gentlemen, any last words before we wrap it up here?
Just
No,
really
nothing?
want to just
Everything
say. Oh, I was gonna say something. I'm really happy to see Chris finally make his debut on the ULI podcast, give his insight on Club America. We would always joke around, memes, whatever that banter, whatever it is in the DMs. It's funny, but I'm just really happy to just have you on here, Chris. It's really nice to just have you here now, apart with us on the podcast and talk everything Club America.
Hey man, I appreciate all of you. We always talk America regardless of this podcast. So at the end of the day, we're pretty much just doing normal talk, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you guys invited me to do this.
No, of course, man. Of course. I needed another West Coast partner, you know?
I was about to say that. There's 2 OC kids now.
There's two kids from Anaheim on the podcast.
And then 2 New Yorkers.
2 New Yorkers. Look at
Grumpy.
But no, this is great. Like great point, AJ. Right? Glad that you're here. You did your best Brian impression, but not putting your camera on, which I think was pretty cool. I think Brian could attest to that. But no, all jokes aside, Chris, like I said, happy that you were able to make your debut. But this was long overdue. You had already been doing an amazing job with us since the moment you arrived, and you really do keep us up to date. You know. So thank you so much for everything, and we look forward to what you're gonna keep bringing to us. And I know the community is gonna be just as grateful in the end. So again, thank you, Chris, and thank you to everyone that came out tonight to talk all things America. Great to see everyone in the chat. Kevin, Ricardo, AP Junior, like I mentioned, Brian, Freddie, everyone, really, thank you so much. And to our beloved cowboy out there who's probably listening to us, we just want to say yeehaw. And we'll be talking to you soon. Alrighty then. With that said, we'll talk to you guys next week to talk things all America. Until then, make sure you guys stay safe. Make sure you guys wear your America jerseys to work because that's what I'm going to be doing on Thursday. And if you guys are going to be going to Buffalo Wild Wings, make sure you guys share your pictures with us because we'd love to see what that all entails. But until next time, you guys take care, be safe, and as always, arriba America. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast. The #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is you may listen.